the other night. Y'all were here a year ago. So how did we do on traffic a year later? So much better, right? So we had to get into the group, but we finally found our group, and we appreciate y'all's help and following all the reminds and the alerts and the newsletters. So thank you so much. A couple of things before I hand it over to 4th grade. And Miss Scott is our team leader this year for the grade level. And give her all your support because I know she's got a lot to share with you. But 2 things. Spirit Shop next door is in the cafe, and PTO has done an amazing job. There's dad shirts, mom shirts, grandparent shirts. Grandparents' Day is coming up, so that might be a nice little gift for some grandmas and grandpas. There's hats, there's umbrellas, there's tons. So be sure and stop in the cafe before you leave tonight. And then second, Ms. Sturba, our board president, also wanted me to share with any of our moms and dads that we have 2 vacancies on the school board right now. So if you want to get more involved and be a part of the board, we've got 2 vacancies right now, and they've got applications that they're looking for interested parties. So other than that, thanks for coming. Thanks for being here tonight. I appreciate you all. You've got a great bunch of kids, and you've got a great team that's ready to share some awesome things going on. Other than that, and Miss Young back in the back is back there saying hello to Miss Young, and I'll hand it over to Miss Scott at this time. Okay?
Good evening. I thought we'd start off by just introducing ourselves. I'm Margo Scott. I teach math and science, and I'm on the yellow team. If we can start with Ms. Thomason next.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Thomason. I teach ELAR on the blue team.
I'm Leanna Gary. I teach math on the blue team.
I'm Brenda Padilla. I teach ELAR and social studies on the yellow team.
I'm Julie Mayfield. I teach math on the green team.
I'm Cheryl Hammonds. I teach math. No, I don't. Patrick. I teach science and Texas history on the green team.
I'm Crystal Kogan. I teach ELAR on the green team.
And I'm Cliff Eisenhower. I teach science and social studies on the blue team.
Okay, let's start off with our grading policies. Our weighted grades are changing just a little bit this year. Our classwork grades are going to be weighted at 50%. Our tests and quizzes are 40%, and then our homework assignments are 10%. We do have a late work policy. Classwork is 10 points off for every day that they're late after the due date. And homework same day late is 10 points off. So if they turn it in on the same day, maybe after lunch, it's going to be 10 days off. And 1 day late is 50 points off for homework. We have an attendance policy. Since we are a charter school, we receive less funding. So the more bodies we have in school for every day, the more money we get. So let's make sure that our kiddos are here as long as they are, not running a fee.
Miss Scott, is this going to be posted somewhere?
It will be.
Yes, so I tell people taking pictures, so it'll be posted.
It'll be posted. No worries, it's going to be posted. ELAR.
Oh, that's me, huh?
That's you.
Hi, again, I'm Stephanie Thomason. I teach ELAR on the blue team. Brenda Padilla on the yellow team, and Crystal Pimpkin on the green team. And we do everything basically the same, with a few little differences, of course. That's just how teachers are. We're not all going to be clones of each other, but we do everything basically the same. So we do idioms and proverbs once a week. Tuesdays we give out a new idiom. The kiddos will write this down, the definition. We discuss it in class, do examples, they might write about it. And then every 9 weeks, near the end of the 9 weeks, they'll take a quiz over all the idioms that they have accumulated and learned through that 9 weeks. Okay? We already have that quiz. It should be set up. Your kiddos should have already told you when that quiz is, but it's on our website, but it's going to be at the end of this 9 weeks, October 2nd. All right, poetry. About every 2 weeks, your kiddos will get a new poem that they have to memorize. That's just really the point of why we give the poem, is to help the kids continue to practice memorization at this grade level. They need to be practicing the memorization skills. We do also discuss the poems, do a little bit of analyzing of them. And we also are going to be writing introductions for our poems. This first one we will do in class with your kiddos. In case they mention to you they have to have an introduction. It will be done in class. Maybe even the first couple we'll do with them. And then as the year progresses, we'll expect them to be doing them on their own. And as the year progresses, they may memorize those introductions as well as the poem. But right now, they do not have to memorize that introduction in case any of the kids are freaking out thinking they need to memorize the introduction. It's just to help them to, hey, oh. Okay. So, any questions about the poem? Because I've had a couple of emails, so I'll just share. Okay. All right. The next thing up there is novel studies. We will do novel studies in 4th grade. This first 9 weeks, I think starting very soon, we're going to be introducing The Secret Garden. Second semester, we will do Robin Hood and Treasure Island. Okay? So those will be our novel studies. We'll read those books mostly in class and do different activities over those books, but they'll have a folder that'll be a novel study folder, so you'll be able to see everything that they're doing if you want to. Otherwise, that book folder stays in the classroom, but they can bring it home and show it to you. Vocabulary, 5 a day. This is where we split just a little bit. Right now, Mrs. Kempkin and myself, the blue team and the green team have introduced vocabulary, and I know the yellow team, Mrs. Padilla, has introduced the 5 a day. And I will probably get to the 5 a day, I'm just not quite there yet. We've been introducing so much to these kiddos during these first couple of weeks that I'm trying to kind of introduce it a little bit at a time. And Mrs. Padilla will get to vocabulary. She just started the other way around. But either way, whether your kiddo is on the green, blue, or yellow team, they will get their vocabulary or 5 a day, introduce the new lesson on Monday, and we'll work through it, and it will be due on Friday at the end of the week. This is, at least I know, on the vocabulary, the blue and green teams, not a homework activity, just kind of a bell ringer activity. When they walk in, they work on it a little bit each day until it's finished. And I think the 5 a day works in a similar fashion.
The 5 a day, I'll give it out on Mondays, and there's 5 questions per day. The first couple of weeks, we're going to really work through it together so that the kids have a model of what's expected for them to do. And probably throughout the first 9 weeks, they'll be allowed to use whatever we do and check in class. They can use it to help them. There's a quiz that goes on Friday, but it's not, they don't have to do it from memory. They can, especially the first 9 weeks, they'll be able to use the corrected assignments that we do in class to help them with that. We did do their first one last Friday, and I'm taking that as a mock grade, which means it's not going in the grade book. So you'll see that coming home with them probably tomorrow. So don't panic with the grade on those. That's just, it's to show you what is coming. Okay, so.
Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Can you explain what is 5 a day?
Okay, 5 a day is where you're practicing revising and editing skills, because 4th grade, not that it's any more important in 4th grade than it is any other grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, all the way up through high school. But in 4th grade, it is the first year that the kiddos will take a writing STAR assessment, at the end of this year. So we wanted to start introducing them to those revising and editing skills so that they're, can just get stronger in those areas, because they're going to need those skills throughout the year. And so the 5 a day really focuses on a lot of those skills and helps them to develop those skills.
Yeah, and it also has some vocabulary on it as well.
Yeah, and different parts of speech. But I mean, its focus is to help them be a stronger writer. And so it's called 5 a day because it covers 5 different areas every day. And they have a folder that has a bunch of material that helps them to do this. Which stays at school typically, though, right?
It's a purple folder, and it's
Yes.
got the handbook that gives them
Yeah.
instructions on how to answer each of the different types of questions.
And they're allowed to use it when working on their 5 a day. We encourage them to use it when they're writing a paper. As the year goes on, that's the idea, is that they're going to use these skills. They're going to use these skills in their writing. So she's working to get that developed, and like I said, I will probably be introducing it soon, and then they can use that folder to apply to their actual writing assignments. Okay? Oh no.
Hi, Carol.
Oops. Sorry. Which way do I go? Which way were we? Is that going to go back? Okay, here we are. Thank you, Miss Scott. All right, so that was the vocabulary 5-a-day. Our spelling tests are a little bit different in 4th grade this year. We are doing individualized spelling tests, and once again, there's going to be just a little bit of difference between the blue and green team and the yellow team, but not too much difference at all. And we're all using the same pattern words, the same strategy every week. We're getting our words from the same book. I just know that Mrs. Padilla is actually going to be giving out the 10 strategy words, and then she's going to let them pull in extra words. She'll give them some extra words, and the kids can pull in some extra words they want to add to their list to build it up to 20. Is that correct? And I know that on the blue and green teams, that would be if you have Mrs. Kimpkin or myself. We are giving a pre-test of the strategy words, and if the kids get all 10 of those words correct, then we pull in additional strategy words, so they're not working on words that they already know how to spell. We're building individualized spelling lists. So every week it's going to be a little bit different. It'll be a different strategy, a different spelling pattern, and every week your kiddo will create their own spelling list. So that is a little bit different, I know, but we're wanting to make sure they're working on words they need to know how to spell, and not just a general set of words that we give to all 22 kids when your student may be able to spell all 10 of those words already before we even get started. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Just curious on how that ends up working out in the classroom at test time, because obviously you can't read out so many.
Yes, exactly. So our first spelling test is this Thursday. And so what we're doing is the kiddos have a list that we've approved, and they have to bring the list to me, and I know to Mrs. Kimpkin, and I'm sure to Mrs. Padilla. We check the list, make sure all their words are spelled correctly, so they're not, learning how to spell words that they chose incorrectly. And we do have a place where they choose these words. They don't just pull random words, so the words come from. Have y'all memorized what's up here yet? Because that is so cute, Okay. Sorry, I apologize. I'm going to talk much faster. Okay, so the end of my spelling list is because they're going to give each other the test. Like the two partners, we'll let them partner test each other. So they'll have the one person's list, and they'll call out the words to that person, and then the other person will call out the words, and then I'll still grade it, but they will call the words out to each other, and I will make sure they know exactly how to pronounce each word, all that kind of thing beforehand. And so they're actually going to be testing each other every Thursday in pairs. Okay, and then every Thursday we'll create and build a new spelling list individualized. Yes, ma'am?
These lists are coming home just like regular spelling lists, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they have a spelling vocabulary tab inside their binder, and that is where they're keeping it until, which this is what you and I are talking about tomorrow. Yeah. I told you I had, okay. Until this Thursday where it's going to change. Because we decided, oh gosh, some kids may not be able to keep up with that loose piece of paper that way. So we're actually going to add a tab in our reading composition book, which already has a place where they keep their idioms, already has a place where they keep their poems. So this week they're going to start recording their new spelling list in that composition book so that they cannot lose that piece of paper. We learned from our mistakes that maybe I wasn't thinking it all the way through last week, so I'm learning as I go, but we'll get better at this.
So there's a place in the planner, and those are displayed next to
Yes, if you wrote them in your planner, some kiddos we did that, but we noticed it was really small, and they were having trouble with that also. So we're going to create a tab in their reading composition book, and that's where their list will be for the rest of the school year starting this Thursday. Okay, so like I said, we had to kind of learn that the hard way. Okay, I'm going to talk fast, individualized stuff. Genre projects. We will be starting our genre projects. Every month we try to do a different genre study. And we will actually introduce our first genre this Friday for the month of September. And during September, we will do things in class. We'll do a genre study to focus on a particular genre, and the kids will do a project. They'll have a month to finish this project. Any of you that have had fourth graders that, in the last few years, you would know about this, but that's what we'll do there. And you'll learn all about that this week. And handwriting. Every week the kiddos will receive cursive practice, and that will be homework. I know Mrs. Padilla and myself, the yellow team, and the blue team will give it out on Wednesdays. It will be due Friday. Mrs. Kimpkin, I know this week did Monday. She'll probably get on track and do...
Just because it was a longer one, it's a review of manuscript, and so I wanted to give them the longer time to finish that.
Yes. And I did that in class last week, not as homework. We worked on it every day in class. So starting next week, Ms. Kempton will be on track with Mrs. Padilla and myself, and every Wednesday they'll receive cursive practice, and that will be due on Fridays. Gosh, I hope I covered everything. Please let me know if you have a question. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about poetry. So the introduction that you're talking about, what are they, what is that? Will a rubric be sent home with us so we can follow along, so make sure they're getting it right?
The introduction is really just going to be a few points on the rubric. Have you seen the rubric for the poetry yet? Okay, it's in the book. They have a reading composition book, and it has a rubric for the poetry already in there. We gave it to them last week when the poem was assigned. And so the introduction is just going to be a few points of introducing the poem. They have to be able to tell us who the poet, the name of the poem correctly, who the poet is, and then just a little bit of information introducing the poem. So it's only a few points. It's worth 10 points for all of them, for telling us the name of the poem, the author, and then introducing the poem. So no, there won't be an individual rubric for just the introduction. It's only a few lines, and we're going to work on that together this Wednesday. We're doing our first one. We did explain that to the kiddos last week, that we'll do our introduction together in class this Wednesday. And we'll do the introductions together the first couple of times until they see what we're looking for. And then they'll do it on their own. But no, the introduction itself won't need it. You'll see, it's only a few sentences. Yeah, it won't need a whole rubric. It's just a few sentences to introduce the poem.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
On the idiom,
Yes.
cover what it's about now, and right now there's what
Yes, they get there tomorrow. We gave it out last Tuesday. They'll get a new one this week. Every week we'll add to that. Yes. And that whole, it'll all be full. They'll have, but I tell them to start studying now. You know, don't wait until you have all your idioms filled in. You can just review the idioms you have every week. And that book will fill up over the next few weeks for that portion of the book. They have to know the definition. Yeah.
Yes, I was asking about the composition books. Have they already been given to them, or is it a black and white one?
They brought in composition books, and they've all been labeled. They'll all put their tabs in them. So they should have it. The idioms and the poems are in the reading composition book. Their response composition book, their writing composition book, those all stay in the classroom. The other one they carry is the one that has their idioms and their poetry. And spelling words as of this week. Any other questions? Something I didn't cover? Something you thought of? All right, if you think of something that I didn't cover, please don't hesitate to contact any one of the three of us. Just email us. We'll get back to you as quickly as we can to answer any questions that you have. Don't ever, you're never bothering us. I know I didn't cover everything, and I'm gonna walk away. Yeah, so thank y'all for being here.
Stephanie, there's one more.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I apologize.
On the remind, is that going to be daily for all the classes together? Because for some reason I was getting some and then I don't get them daily, so just to know that there's a reminder.
I don't know that you will get a daily remind. Like, I did an actual ELAR remind in addition to the Team Blue remind, because the Team Blue remind, when we set it up, I thought it was like general information to remind, you know, when we're having whole fundraisers or class get-togethers, parties, field trips, anything that we need to know, everybody needs to know. And then I did an ELAR remind. And so I won't send it out daily, but say I'll send it out and let you know these are the upcoming things. So if you joined the ELAR remind, then you would have got one from me today letting you know that there are several things coming up. The spelling test, the poem, that kind of thing. But I don't know that you would get a daily remind. I know I send them out probably once a week, just to let you know what's coming up. The spelling test will be on Thursday. And that is on that's on my website, probably on everybody's website. So y'all can always check a website too. If you're unsure and you can't reach anyone, I know the green team has a Facebook page, is that correct? The blue team, if they have one, I'm not part of it, so I'm not on Facebook, sorry.
And I'll interject, if you haven't had a chance to look at the website, our teams this year have gone above and beyond. And so instead of clicking around 6, 7, 8 times, they have really made it really intentionally user-friendly. So if you haven't checked out their website, I see some of you nodding your head. And so be sure to check out their website because they've really done a good job this year. And as you can tell, with all 3 teams, these ladies ladies and gentlemen are getting together on a weekly basis and they're trying to stay as consistent as possible. We heard your voices and they're trying, and so there'll be a few tweaks here and there, but for the most part, they're doing everything the same. So it's good routine. Wonderful.
Okay. Math, this year we're using an interactive notebook, and your kiddos won't be bringing it home with them. It stays in the classroom, and it's just a resource that they can use as they're completing their classwork assignments. When they get home and they're working on their homework assignments, we would like for you to use the strategies that are brought to them in class. And so if you could look on our websites for the proof of thinking of how we want them to do problem solving and how they should show all of their work. So if you can keep track of our websites with example pages and what their notes should look like, then that would help us out. Our math textbook, they brought home volume 1 already. Help them to not misplace that book, because there are going to be times where we're going to require them to do some of the homework pages from that actual book. And so please make sure that they're keeping up with that book. But just in case they don't, I always post classwork assignments and homework assignments on my webpage, just in case anything gets lost or misplaced between here and school, home and school. Technology, we'll go back to STEMs for Ms. Aguirre. Technology, we're going to be using Khan Academy just as soon as we get the beginning of the year math results back, so that Khan Academy and their math results can be linked together so that they can be more individualized instruction for that particular kiddo. Think Through Math is still going to be utilized. We're working on getting all of their usernames and things like that and put it into the system, but we are going to continue with Think Through Math. This year, we're also going to be working on Extra Math. I haven't worked on it, but the 2 ladies that I'm working with this year have worked on it, and it's a really good program for math practice, skills practice, so we're going to use that. And again, keep up with our teacher web pages so that you know what we're doing and how it should look while your kiddos are working at home. So STEM bins, Ms. Aguirre.
And my notebook, I let the kids keep in their backpack so they can use their notes for homework. So that if you're on the blue team, they keep their notebook with them. Skin and borrow you, can you hold this for me? Absolutely. STEM bins I'm really excited about. Raise your hand if you heard of STEM. Science, technology, engineering, and math. We are working on getting our kids thinking outside the box, but we're using boxes to do it. So we have STEM bin, and what they're doing is they're using, well, I wouldn't say every day, but common items in a different way. So we're working to have in each math room have a set of STEM bins. This particular one is Play-Doh and toothpicks, and thank you to those of you parents who have donated. When they have time to do this will be like early finishers, sometimes centers in the room. They will come and they will pick a card, and it will tell them they can build these different things. There's a train, there's a bike, there's a shelf, there's a plane. They can work individually. They can collaborate, which is what I would love for them to do in my rooms. They're thinking and talking and planning, and how is that present activity going to either help me or interfere with my idea. So it's also collaborating, getting them to work together. And then we have extensions. Once they build it, can they make it stronger? Can they make it taller? Can they make it bear weight? So we're really getting them to think and apply those mathematical skills and their science skills for the STEM bin. So thank you if you have donated. We will send out an update for Remind. I sent one last week, and I was like, oh, I'll bring this and I'll bring that. So we appreciate that very much. So we're going to get that updated, get them set up in the classes, and then I'll send out another reminder for anybody who wants to donate. The kids are really excited. I've been told, when do we get to use those? As soon as we have everything ready and we go through the procedures. And we'll start really slow, get them introduced, a few at a time, make sure they're being taken care of, because we want them to last as long as possible. So again, thank you, and watch for Remind update.
Thank you. They like STEM bins. Me too. Me too.
That's all we have for
Mine loves your bin.
What is it? Oh, yay! Thank you. We'll work together.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Hold on, then.
Oh, question.
Whatever. For Margot. Margot's man.
For the technology, those 3 websites, are the kids required to do them all of them? Like, what is assigned?
We have Chromebook carts. And so we have a technology day, each of us have a technology day, and so I'm going to have my kiddos working on Khan Academy and Think Through Math in the classroom, and they can absolutely work on as much as they can at home also. So yeah. So it's not going to be, I'm sorry, it's not going, for me, it's not going to be an assignment, a homework assignment grade or anything. I just want to make sure that they're using the programs and making sure that they're being effectively utilized. So yeah, they're not just clicking and playing around on it.
So they already set up like their levels or something and just work
When we
each lesson.
complete the map testing, we're going to input the data so that the Khan Academy program will know just how to individualize that student's instruction. And with Think Through Math, I'm going to assign pathways based on the topics that we're discussing in class.
Is it already started?
No.
Okay. When do you think we will?
We're doing the map for math on Wednesday and Thursday. And so the Think Through Math, we're just waiting for, I guess the teachers could input the Think Through Math logins and things for the students. I was waiting on Ms. Allen to do it. Mr. Daffin did it in the past, so he's no longer with us, so as soon as, we'll work it out.
Soon.
Yes, sir.
I did hear the other teacher say that she normally give them their interactive notebook home, but in your case, I don't think you do so. Is there a reason why you prefer?
I don't want it to be lost or misplaced, but I want it to be in class. And so I feel like if they're taking it home, it may get left at home, and then for that day, they're not having their resource with them.
But Ms. Scott also posts copies of her notes on her webpage. I don't. So the notes are still accessible to you at home, even without the notebook.
Okay. Yeah, because the reason I asked is I would have loved to see what the kids are doing, but since you post it on the webpage, then that's been good.
Gotcha. Yes, ma'am.
So you talk about the web page. I'm not aware of that web page. Where do I find it?
It's on our district website. If you go to schools, intermediate, faculty and staff, 4th grade, find our names.
There's 3 separate links. One link for the green team, blue team, yellow team. And from each of those pages you can directly email us, or you can access our website as well.
And that will go to what?
The Arlington Classics webpage, and then go to intermediate campus or schools, intermediate, faculty and staff.
You want me to come to?
Sure.
She would like to.
Okay, so if you go to acaedu.net, you will find our district website. Up here where it says select a school, you choose intermediate campus. From there, you go to faculty and staff. And we're right here, 4th grade. And then you see our lovely picture of all of us. It tells you your teams, blue team, green team, yellow team. And then you can click on each of these if you want to send us an email. They're directly linked to email. And then if you go down, once again, it has blue team with your teachers of each subject. You can go to their website, and then green team, yellow team. And I know that Science and Texas History post on this page, yes? Or you post, I think Mr. Eisenhower posted on this page, and then Ms. Hammond's post on her website. And so then over here you have green team, blue team, and yellow team, as well as our 4th grade schedule. So you can, 4th grade schedule tells you what time your kiddos have lunch, recess, etc. I know we had a few parents who came at the wrong lunchtime one day because their kiddos forgot what time lunch was.
Can we just show them how to see our daily plan?
Oh, yeah. I'll get to that.
Access to the
Okay,
plan.
so if you ever need to find out when your kid has what, go ahead and go to this daily schedule. And then each of the links, this has click on our names to go to our websites, and then email, website, email, website, email. And then we also, I know my team posted our remind codes They're all here. There's our general code, Ms. Hammond's, mine, and Ms. Mayfield's. Here's our join here for our Green Team Facebook page. We asked you to complete a student information survey, and then our planner is live. It is embedded on this page, so every day you can see what we have assigned them in their planners. So if your kiddo is running late and they don't get to write in their planners that day, it's on our site, so you can find out what they need to get. Okay. Questions about the website? Yes, ma'am.
I know like last year or years before, we were used to having like certain homework types on certain days. Is that still going to apply this year, or is it going to be more random? Like,
it's kind of as needed, and I know some things that if they don't finish in class, we will ask them to finish it at home. I know for ELAR, we have extended assignments, and so like their genre project is coming up, we'll give it to them on Friday, and they have an entire month to get that turned in. I know they can turn in mine early if they choose to. Early?
Oh, yeah.
Early, Ms. Padilla? Yes, okay. And then like handwriting, it's mostly Wednesdays, we do on Fridays. Then tests are Thursdays. So it just depends on what subjects you are concerned about. But it's not, we don't specifically say math is doing homework on this day, reading is doing homework on this day. Okay? Does that answer your question? Anybody else questions about website? Yes, ma'am.
So that planner just shows that particular date?
Yes.
And you look back what you did?
No.
That's just...
No, it's a live document, so it changes as we update it each day. Okay? And I know Mr. Eisenhower sends out a daily email for blue team, and then yellow team, you're using Remind, yes? Yes. So we have all kinds of ways to contact you, and you have all kinds of ways to contact us. And don't be afraid to use them.
Are you able to make that box bigger?
No, unfortunately, this website, the interface that our district uses is not very friendly with embedded items, and so it's on there. If you're on our Facebook page, I'm about to share the link, the direct link to our planner, so it will open up as a Google Doc instead of just online.
So each day you'll do it?
I won't send out the link again. Like you'll
Oh, so you just use the link?
Yes, it's the same page, we just update it to you. So I know we all update first thing in the morning, our planners, because that's the first thing the kids do when they come in, is write down their assignments in their planners. Okay. Back to Ms. Scott.
Science.
Oh, and back to Ms. Hammond.
There you go. Okay, so we're having some fun already. We're learning how to use the tools and measuring things, having fun. We are using STEM scopes again, so if your kids were here last year, you should already have that set up. Like every other content, we're still trying to get all the logins and get the fine tuning on it. I couldn't even get into it myself this morning, but I think I'm back in. All the kids should have their, did you give them out, Mr. Eisenhower? Okay. On the Green Team, I cut and taped onto their password keeper page their login information. The website to STEM Scopes is at the bottom, but if you've got it saved, just do that. It's a lot easier. Getting in the first time, you have to go through, pick school, and do all these different things, but then if you save it, it should be easy just to click on it. Normally, I send out a reminder on Sunday evening after I get all my plans done and my webpage up to date. And once we get rolling on STEM Scopes, I'll probably assign one thing, maybe on Sunday night, that they can work on during the week. And a lot of them are games and interactive, like video game kind of things that the kids like to do, or picture vocabulary. What I did this weekend, when the kids log in, they also will give you a thumbs up. You don't have any assignments right now. Well, if they have to go to learning resources, it's a tab up at the top. And I've assigned like 5 different things for every unit for the whole year. So if I say do picture vocabulary for this unit, they go to learning resources and it will be there. It's not specifically assigned to that class. So they can find it under learning resources. These are not graded, but like with math, they're just extra help that they can do, especially on the vocabulary. Because as they get higher up in science, I make them use the academic terms, and kids were saying meniscus today, and yes, they're using all those good words. So there's a whole picture vocabulary of all the vocabulary, so if they're just bored sometime, they can click on these different vocab words. It gives them a picture, description, and that will just help them as they go along. Same thing, right? There we go. Discovery Education is a program that we have here. You don't have access to it there, but we use some of their videos. And this year they've added some STEM activities and projects. I just haven't had a chance to go look at them yet, but I'll try to get in there and then share some of those with them. Hands-on activities. We'll do as many of those as we can, but we still have to do the reading and the writing and the practicing of vocabulary. And I'm going to try something Thursday called Vocabulary SWAT. So if you've been in my room and you see what's on top of the cubbies, then you might have an idea of what the game's going to be. So we'll see how that goes. Thinking maps and journals, we use those. The kids leave their journals here. If they want to bring it home to study for a test, they're welcome to. We glue a lot of the items in that we've done in class. The lab reports, vocabulary, things like that should be glued in there so they can use that as a resource. Our first test will be open book next Wednesday, just to kind of get into the swing of things. So that's no worry unless they just want to flip through STEM scopes anyway. Any questions? All right. Well, we're glad to have them. Do you have a question?
Yeah, so for Discovery Education, that's another online thing?
That's just for us.
Oh, for you.
Right. They have a lot of really good, like, short videos, like 10, 12 minutes, 3-4 minutes. I used them to show how to use triple beam balance, was 3 minutes. Gives them a quick overview of how to do things. But those I can't assign to you, but we use those in class. Okay? All right. Thank you. You're going to have a good time.
I think you're doing social studies too much.
Oh, yes. My bad. There's one more. Okay. Yes, Texas history falls under social studies. So if they say, well, I've got her for Texas history, not social studies, it just falls under social studies. So we're doing that every day. And we did get the newspaper that goes week by week. Probably you saw their crossword puzzle that they brought home Friday. Several kids finished it in class. We read it out loud. And I did give them a wink, wink, nod, nod on some, good places to highlight. Because I don't want them to have to be stuck for 2 hours reading through that whole thing to find what goes into the crossword puzzle. It's more about reading it together and talking about it. So I did kind of help them out on that one and highlighted the important words to put in there. But there's a lot of other activities we have online for that as well. So I'm still trying to get all those different accounts set up, and when I get those done, I'll share those with you too. Okay? All right. Thank you.
I have a question. Is that weekly newsletter going to be something, because I know you mentioned that you all do that in class, but I know that like our teacher, we get it assigned as a homework thing, so is that going to continue as a homework assignment, or will it be read in class together? Or
we don't read together in class. I'm trusting they're at a level where they can read. If we have to discuss things, which we do, then we do that. We supplement to it at first. They do the execution.
And we're not going to read it out loud every week. This was just kind of get things going, because there's some of the units that are really good. I let the kids do Google Slides, do a presentation, like what did your family bring to Texas when they were talking about the early days in Texas. And they really did a great job last year, so I want to let them do that. We get the Chrome card one day a week too.
And I'll be honest, because on the yellow team, it's a little bit different because we're only 2 teachers. And so on the yellow team, the social studies is combined with EWAC. And so I pull a lot. I use the Texas Studies Weekly as well. But like last week, we were doing comparison and contrasting with Texas long ago and Texas today. And so we're all using the same resources to teach the same skills in a slightly different way. So, but they're all going to hit the same. They're all going to hit the same social studies teach, those objectives, and with the same types of materials.
Here are our remind codes, the blue team, the yellow team, and the green team. And this again will be posted on our website, so no worries if you can't copy it down too fast now. So it'll be posted. There's some information that our specials team would like for you guys to be aware of. Discipline notes and what their conduct grades are. If they receive 0 to 1 discipline note, their conduct grade on their report card would be an E. 2 discipline notes an S, 3 N, and then 4 or more, their conduct grade for specials would be a U. It's going to be a little different for PE since the students are going to PE twice a week now instead of once. Her scale is going to be different from the specials that they see only once a week. So between 0 and 1 discipline notes, they're going to receive an E, 2 to 3 an S, 4 is going to be an N, and more than 5 or 5 and above are going to be a U. And the students receive their SAD notes, and I just clamp it into their planner. This is our testing calendar. This week we're starting our MAP testing. So ELAR started today. They'll finish up tomorrow. MAP will start Wednesday and Thursday. Their STAR testing dates are there and available. Middle of the year MAP, and then the end of the year MAP. Our cafeteria expectations and rules for visitors have changed a little bit. You can have lunch with your Griffin and a friend. No friend. Just your Griffin, and you can bring just them lunch, but you can't bring lunch for any other students. And you can sit at the designated table, except for during STAR, no visitors during STAR. No pictures, and you can't go out for recess with the class. So once lunch is over, you can, say goodbye. But we are a nut-friendly campus also, so please be mindful of that, not just in the cafeteria, but for parties and bringing snacks. Just remember that we're a nut-friendly school, and all of us allow students to have snack in the classroom, so just be mindful that we are nut-friendly. Yes, question?
So fourth grade is open seating, would you want to do that change?
It's open. They sit where they want to sit.
Yeah, except for like those 4 days.
Yes.
Just wanted to double check with them.
Yes. Any other questions?
The green team got a note that said no nuts for the student in the class.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
The green team?
There was a letter that was sent home. There is, Commissioner, a letter for,
Yes, because we are nut friendly. We ask that you send in snacks, treats, for parties, birthdays, that you keep in mind that on that team there are students who have severe allergies to certain food products. So please keep that in mind before you send in things that some kids may not be able to have it because of food allergies. So finding things that everyone can enjoy would be greatly appreciated by the kids.
yes, is it at a different night? They mentioned that district-wide, there was no longer a victory flag program.
That was at primary.
Yes. Okay, they were like going on and on about
Yeah, they did say that it was district-wide
all
on their
districts,
slide.
this is primary, it's all the schools. That's
What?
what they,
Yeah, they were like that.
No birthday.
as long as it is after 1:35, so usually each team has their time, and you are welcome to chime in. The last hour of the day is usually, I'm guessing, when you do your snacks.
Actually, I know on the blue team this year, we have our homerooms in the middle of the day. So we have them at Core 2 after the time that we are allowed to celebrate birthdays. And so we do them with our homeroom in the blue team because that's when we use it. And green
That'll
team,
work
you
for
have
me
your
too.
Core 2 at that
Yes, we'll
time
have
as
that.
well?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what, your homeroom at that time, yeah.
The last 10 minutes of our
Mhm.
Core 2 is.
So at this campus, as long, we follow all the rules, we can do birthday treats as long as we do them after 1:30. And that's how I've actually already done some this year, and that's what how we're doing it.
I think, and it goes back to, it's just, we try to stay consistent with our food, nutritional laws, but, as kiddos get older, blue icing, is contained a little bit better than, other campuses, and that's a joke. And so, so we try to allow them to celebrate, just like, and I'm gonna piggyback on that, this campus, I spoke with a couple parents, about lunch and about recess. The reasoning behind not going out at recess with your kiddo is because when they get to this age, that's about the time when you start to have girl drama and friend drama. And when mamas and daddies go out to recess and there's a conflict, littles go to mommy and daddy to solve their problems. And part of our job raising your kiddos through this intermediate phase is teaching them to advocate and go to their teachers for help or solving problems on their own. So part of that is just an extension of the classroom and their problem solving at recess. Okay, so we want you to come and visit, come eat, and if you got the newsletter last week on Remind, every day is Grandparents' Day at the Intermediate Campus. Grandmas and grandpas can come anytime, there's no designated day. But we want you to have quality time with your group. And so we don't want you to have a slumber party, at one of the tables in the cafeteria. So if you come and visit your kiddo, that's your time to eat with your kiddo. Okay, and then once lunch is over, let them go play, let them learn how to solve problems, let them learn, how to be with their friends at recess. So we're not trying to turn you away, we're just trying to help part of that learning beyond the cafeteria. Okay? Does that make sense?
And Ms. Rogers?
Yes.
And I'll also add too, I'm happy to have parents that are available when I'm doing a lab to come in. I called a parent last night and she says, I can help anytime. And I said, what are you doing tomorrow? Because we were doing a lab today, so she came in during her child's core class and helped out with the lab. So I can either put that on Remind or on the website if there's going to be a lab coming up. And I can't have 10 of y'all in there one time. But, I'm happy to have you come in, and the kids love having their parents in there to help them do things. So I'll keep you informed on that, and you're welcome to come in and help.
And on that note too, if you got one of the reminds today, I know you're probably being reminded to death. And so you can change your settings so that you're not getting it on your cell phone, your email, your text, your everything. So you can go into settings and pick where you want it. But along the lines of working in the classroom, volunteer applications are due this Friday. And we at this campus do fall field trips, and we would love for you to participate in that. So make sure you get your volunteer applications in by this Friday. Sorry, your turn to use.
That's it. We're done.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
What are the kinds of enrichment that you have for this grade? Just like music, or what do you guys have?
Special.
We have art, music, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, this kind of thing.
Yeah, we have PE, art, music, Spanish. They take PE twice a week. Art, music, and Spanish are once a week. Yeah. You're welcome.
So I have a question about the planner they write down.
Yes.
In the past week, I see them writing what they did in the class instead of the homework. Are they required to write down what they did on that day in the
Ms.
class?
Padilla and I have the students write their homework assignments down. I think it varies between the teams, but
on ours, we preview on their page what they're going to do in class, but I make that a different color, and I have told them very plainly, the only things you need to write down is what is in red. Because the rest of it is, now, I will say that if they're not listening, then they may not be hearing that direction. But I repeat that every single morning, that the only thing you need to write down is what is in red, because that's your homework assignments.
Right.
And typically, my homework doesn't change very much during the week. It's pretty repetitive in the pattern, so.
I'm just a bit confused of what is homework and what is not homework.
Can I add on for at least my class? We put on there what we're doing. Because I know last year, if it wasn't homework, we didn't put it on there. And I very rarely assign just straight up homework. So then parents were saying, aren't y'all doing anything in science? There's everything on there. So I wanted to at least put something on there so you know what we're doing. But if they don't finish it in class, then I tell them to get out their binder and circle that and put HW. And I'll remind them 3 or 4 times. If you don't finish that, circle it, do something to mark that it's homework. Otherwise, it's just there for you to kind of have an idea of what we're working on if you want to have a discussion about it or look up something. So.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
So on athletic days, are they able to wear like sperries? I know they wear tennis shoes. I know that's
Okay, all the time, but like, are they able to wear different shoes?
Yeah, as long as they're closed toed.
Okay. And athletic days, athletic shoes, but any other days?
I have a question about the backpacks. What is supposed to be inside the backpack? I know that's different for each, maybe different for each team. Can somebody address that for the blue
For
team?
us, oh, I'm
I just
sorry.
had
Blue
a
team.
question maybe specific for the blue. They can
Oh, I
address
don't
that.
really know. I'll have to talk.
4 journals, 1 for reading, science, social studies, and math. And then the Envision book should stay home unless they're in homework and else we probably need to work on it. They have their binder.
And then I guess any
And
books
for me,
they-
it's the combined STEMscopedia and science literacy. That's pretty much it. And their lunch.
Okay, I just didn't know if there was going to be an opportunity for them to leave any of their supplies in the.
Well, they leave everything in my room, except they have 8 out of their 4 composition books, they keep 1. Out of their 2 being a writer books, they keep none. Out of their handwriting book, they keep none. All they have for me is 1 composition book. Same thing for math, 1 composition book. And the reason they carry that composition book is it has their idioms and their poems in it. And so they can have it with them to study at any time, but they don't bring home any of their books. They're never even in their backpack. They never leave my room. They have 3 books that they work out of, but those all stay in my room, and the other 3 composition books stay in the room.
And while we're talking about backpacks, the books that they're reading for their individual reading, they don't need to carry around 4 or 5 books. You can limit them to 1, especially these huge. I mean, I have several students that are reading Harry Potter, and one came to school with 3 Harry Potter books in their backpack. They were like, that hurts. And I opened the backpack, and there's 3 Harry Potter hardcovers in there. And I said, well, this is the issue right here. So, what those, it'll work. Yes, ma'am.
So for the grade teams, would you tell them what should be in their backpack? Like, should there be a reading notebook or something?
The reading notebook is going to start coming home tomorrow. We didn't have a reason to send it home last week. The only thing that had been added for them to study would be their first idiom. And so, but now they have their poems, so we're going to put that in our backpack starting tomorrow, and it will live in their backpacks. But they do need it every single day in class. So please make sure that comes back to school.
And for science, all their STEMscopes books, they have 2 of them. They stay in my room. They've got their name on them. If we get them out and use them. If they want to take them home to study for something, they're welcome to. But in general, they stay in my room. Science journals, Texas history journals also stay in my room. So just their general getting around the day.
The math, the volume 1 Envision book should stay at home. On Sunday nights, I will post the homework, so if they are going to H&H and they want to work on their homework, and the pages from Envision will be on the website, so they can tear them out in advance and bring them to homework and help that day if they would like. But the Envision book should stay home.
For the yellow team, they should just have their binder, their math composition book or their math spiral stays at home or stays in my classroom. No science books. They may have their science composition book, may or may not, depending on what we're doing in class that week. But other than that, books to read, their lunches. That's about it.
Yeah, and I'm going to echo what Ms. Mayfield said about the math workbook for Blue Team. They are certainly welcome to tear out the homework pages. For Blue Team, the math is posted for the whole week on the website. You can see what the homework pages are. They can tear those out, put them behind their homework tab. There is no need to carry on that thick workbook for math.
Yes, ma'am.
Same question for you about the Envision book. She brought a homework assignment home and she was working on notebook paper.
Yes.
Using the book. Do you have to tear things out?
The Envision homework assignments go on notebook paper. If they, like tonight's homework assignment was state populations, they can work on that page, but any assignments for my classroom, I think we agreed on, right? Any homework assignments.
We
for
may
the
have
math
changed
book-
that. I changed it for mine, I know. Well, they're still doing the exact same work. They are doing the exact
But I
same work.
require notebook paper, just because of the amount of space. I want them to show all of their work and not have it crumpled into a small section. I want them to have as much room as possible to show all of their work on.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Talking about the Envision book,
Yes.
I know that my child came home today, there was a homework that they were supposed to do. They got them all done, but one question was left and he wasn't sure exactly what it is. I wanted to say, I was asking him if we do have the Envision book so we can look at examples of similar work, but we don't have any to look at. So he said he was going to ask you or meet with you later on.
Was it number 4 on tonight's homework assignment?
I think I have it, yes.
Today was state population. They had the picture of the United States up at the top.
I think it's number 2.
Number 2?
Number 2 is talking about 10 times more, 10 times.
How is AIDS in Florida 2010 population related to each other?
We've been working on that all week. Okay. On that particular homework assignment, they got a state population count. There were only 4 questions. And I told him number 4 was kind of difficult, but he's talking actually about number 2, where it might have 888, and 8 is in the ones place. If I jump to the tens place, the tens place is worth 10 times the one place. So 80 has a value 10 times as much as 8 in the ones column, and it works backwards where 8 has 1/10 the value of 80. So that's what we've been working on this week, to get the place value and how those places are related to each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Okay, that was number 2 on tonight's homework. Yeah, if you're here, you need to get it right.
Mrs. Mayfield, do you have a peer question?
Are you okay with Clay doing her homework on notebook paper, or will you prefer it on notebook paper?
It's fine if she wants to. I told them that they needed a staple notebook paper
Okay.
to work
So
out
we
the
can
problem.
type it
So it's
together.
fine if she needs to.
Okay, I was making sure it worked, but I know.
That's fine.
If you have a generic, specific question to all, do we have any of those questions at this time? And if you have one that's specific to a teacher, we'll let you stay after and ask. So any overall questions? Oh, release. Go. No? Okay. Okay.